on RealLeper. I said, come on, RealLeper. I said, come on, RealLeper. Migraines to the limit, migraines to the limit. Everybody enjoy RealLeper. Yes, said, come on, RealLeper. I said, come on, RealLeper. Everybody to the stats. Who's that? Another statistic. Everybody listen to RealLeper. Come on, RealLeper. I see you razzing me, trying to play like we're related. I'm like, come on, RealLeper. I said, come on, RealLeper. Everybody to the show. Cheesy is in my heart. Everybody come on, RealLeper. I said, ooh, ah, the RealLeper. I said, ooh, ah, the RealLeper. Who's that RealLeper? I said, who is that RealLeper? I don't know who he thinks he is, but it probably is the RealLeper. I asked my friend Will. I asked my friend Bill. They said it was a RealLeper. I said, come on, RealLeper. I said, come on, RealLeper. Who's a paint the minis? It's him. He paints the minis. Everybody listen to RealLeper. Man, RealLeper. Man, RealLeper. You're just making yourself look worse, you know? I mean, everybody's just gonna feel sorry for you. Because we're related. I mean, I do.
Well, I'll just say it's like this first time we've done something like this since what was it when we were doing Out of the Hat?
Oh, yeah. Which is a long time. When was that? I'm gonna look that up.
Oh gosh.
I can find out really easily.
That was 8 years ago.
It was probably 5+ years ago. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yep, it was. Yeah.
It was. Easily it was. All right. Well, now it's going to take too much time, but now I'm determined. Now we just have to know. Okay. There's the podcast feed.
Yeah, I think that would have been probably like 2018.
Episodes, episode list, and start scrolling. Whoop. Aha. Out of the Hat, episode 1 was June 17th, 2018.
Called it.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah.
Has this feed really been going that long? How many of those did we do?
In one form or another, yeah.
Yeah, that's
We did
crazy.
a handful.
We did seven of them, it looks like. That's
That was
not
back
bad.
when I was, yeah. That was back when I was doing that YouTube channel regularly that just,
I miss it.
yeah. I kind of don't.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'd go back and try and watch it. It's like I wouldn't want to watch because I just cringe just hearing myself talk a lot of the times doing the videos.
Oh, yeah. Listening to yourself is always cringe, but just know I enjoyed it. And I'm someone who is supposed to hate you. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed it. So,
Well, thanks,
food for thought. I probably should have said something. It's my fault. It's all over. I should have said something 5 years ago. That's my fault. 2018, quick math is 27 years ago, right?
Everything that went on, it kind of feels like it.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. There's times where stuff just from 3 years ago feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
Well, you have the pre-COVID times that feel like a lot longer than 4 or 5 years ago. And then the post-COVID times, which still feels forever.
Well, that and, everything that went on with Mom was like, leading right up to COVID times. I was like, that just...
Oh, yeah.
I saw that aged all of us a few years.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So you have pre the mom stuff and then COVID and then, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Time, it's an illusion. And a magician never reveals his secrets. Well, how's life?
Nay.
Tell me stories.
Oh.
How's work going? How's the fam?
The fam's doing pretty good. and work has actually quieted down a lot lately.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, because there's like part of it was the controllers that we have been using.
Yeah. We're Xbox 360 controllers, right?
uh, Not even.
Oh, PS4. Got it.
But anyways, like the platform we were using for doing all the building controls was kind of adapted from what we were using for all the residential stuff, which it barely did that.
Yeah.
And of course, buildings, you've got a lot more stuff needing to be processed than if you're just like got a house and you're just keeping an eye on like the dryer and the ACs and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun for a while, swapping all the buildings over to a platform that can actually handle all the data that's actually having to get passed around everywhere.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense, because I know you were having to go fix stuff all the time. So having stuff that's actually supposed to work makes life a lot easier for you.
Yeah. So it's like now we only have a couple of buildings really or a couple of customers that are still using the older stuff. One of them, we're waiting for them to actually pull the trigger on doing the upgrade.
Boomers.
And the guy that we're usually talking to really wants to go through with it.
Yeah.
But the other ones is like the ones just like they have multiple buildings. They're actually on their way out the door.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess the actual company that has the buildings decided they wanted to switch to a different company, different platform and everything.
I hate them. Do you want me to burn them down?
Yeah. No, I actually understand why they wanted to do it.
Because your company sucks or what?
No, well,
remember, you're being recorded.
No, we actually do pretty good. It's just we're a small outfit, and it's like,
oh yeah,
the platform we're on doesn't have all the stuff that they're really wanting to do.
For sure, yeah. If they're expanding to a bigger level, then yeah, you got to go to the next level. When are you going to the next level?
Eventually.
Yeah, what's eventually? Give me the timeline. Because is it becoming CEO of the current company or jumping to another one that's bigger?
I think of probably making the move to another company.
Hey, that's exciting.
Yeah. I actually have to just get off my butt and start looking.
Oh. Well, hey, you should get off your butt and start looking.
I should, but part of it is just like with all the crap that had gone on the past few years.
Yeah.
I've also kind of been enjoying the quieter stretch now.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's like everything's actually feeling pretty stable right now, and it's like I haven't had that for a long time. So it's like,
yeah, that breath of fresh air. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When life is finally like, hey, buddy, you know what? We'll give you your union break, and then we'll slap you around a bit again here soon. Well, I'll tell you what. If you find something up here, I'll put a tent in the backyard, and you can live in that rent free. How's that?
Fantastic.
Okay, good. It's not going to be a very big tent. It's going to be one of those cots that has like the tent built on top of it. You just one of those in the backyard. You'll be all right.
As long as there's room for me, a sleeping bag, and maybe like a hatchet or something to ward off the mountain lions, I think we'll be okay.
No, they just stay under the deck, so you're okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh, I thought that's what you were referencing. Yeah. Oh, that's still
kind of, but I forgot that's all that one did.
Yeah. John will still talk about that just randomly over. You'll just be sitting in the conversation. He's like, you remember when I saved the city and found that mountain lion they were looking for under the deck? Yeah. I should be in the newspapers.
Well, when he's not going, I could kick the bucket any time now.
I know. It's my favorite thing.
I'm like,
he does just all the time. Hey, man, I'm so happy with my family. Too bad it's all going to end soon. You're like, what? I have so many dreams and aspirations for such a frail old man. You're like, John, you're doing fine. Like, what are you talking about? It cracks me up.
Yeah. Well, it's like, the customer that's moving over.
Yeah.
They're it's innovations are eventually going to be moving over. But I remember when we still had our previous senior service tech who had been working with them. Like, he used to work with them directly for years and years. Then, he got hired with the company that actually put in the controls that we were been working with for a while. And then they started working with us after a few years. But he was just like, yeah, it's just so crazy, because he went, you look at everybody, all the participants in there, is like, I'm 10 years older than most of them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm doing so much better. It's just like, John, you're doing pretty stinking good.
You're doing just fine. Well, going back to your job for just a second, for someone who may not know, AKA it's actually me. People ask me all the time what you do, and I can never explain it. What is it you do?
All right. Well, nowadays we're just focused on the one thing, which is building automation. Mostly, that's mostly controlling the HVAC side, so heating, air conditioning.
Yeah.
And just kind of making sure everything's nice and comfy and everything. There's not too much, too much air pressure getting built up and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of different from building to building.
Yeah. So you're more the the programming side. Is that what you do, or are you more the electrical maintenance word?
I do a bit of both. It's mostly the programming.
Okay.
Because that's where my boss is a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
But it's like I've picked up a bit of the electrical stuff, just having to show up and troubleshoot stuff.
Does he know what a PDF is?
He does.
Okay, good. Woo.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty tech savvy. It's just the actual programming side.
Oh yeah,
he knows enough to know how things should work.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it kind of leans on me to actually make that happen.
Well, I'm sure he's been doing it for so long. Yeah. I'm sure things have accelerated at such a rate that at some point you just kind of can't keep up anymore.
Oh, just the few years that I've been studying any kind of programming, stuff's just, I can barely keep up with it.
Yeah. Well, that's because you have a hard time reading.
What's this reading you speak of?
That's why all your books are picture books that pop up. Do they make a pop up programming book? That's hard to say. Say that 3 times fast. Holy crap!
That 3 times fast.
Oh, you. Well played.
But I don't think so. I know they've got like a bunch of this language or that platform for dummies books.
Yeah, like
I actually have a couple of them on my shelf.
Yeah, I see. The whole folks, for people who can't see, his entire shelf is just those yellow bound books. It's a lot of for dummies books for everything: how to use a fork, how to sleep, how to make a bed, how to breathe.
I know, sometimes it feels like I do need like a sleeping for dummies book. Dude, it just doesn't work.
I made that joke, but I 100% need that too. The mask I think I've shown you where I have that mask that has the face mask with the headphones built into the ears, and I'll like listen to rain sounds and stuff. That helps a ton. But there's nights where it's just nothing will help. I'm like, babe, just hit me in the head with a baseball bat. Like, just knock me out. Like, there's nothing is working here.
Oh, yeah, that's me too. Is like I've tried, kind of reading until my brain goes numb, but sometimes that doesn't always work.
I should try that actually. I haven't actually sat down and like read before bed in a long time. That's actually a really good thought.
That was my like nightly routine for a while.
Yeah,
but then that got thrown off with everything else that had gone on, and it's been really tricky trying to get back on it.
Oh, for sure. Well, I know you do a lot of the paintings of miniatures and stuff. Is that something you do before bed, or is it having that light on? Does that mess it up? Because I know that can be a pretty relaxing thing to do.
Well, that'd be with music. That'd be this light that I've got on right here, and it's not so bad.
Okay.
Because it's just a plain, it's like an old school light bulb that tries to mimic daylight. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
But our whole our whole lighting circuit down here has been just out for years now. So it's
Oh,
just been this lamp, and then I've got like a like one of those LED swivel lamps on
oh, I
my
know what you're talking
drawing
about.
table
Yeah,
that's over
yeah.
by the bed, and that's what I usually use to for light when I'm reading and whatnot. But that, because it's LED,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That'll mess
it's
you
like,
up.
bleh. Yeah.
You should get one of those
So
the
that's
glasses that have like the little flashlights on the frame. Have
ooh.
you seen those? Or I guess you could just wear a
I don't.
headlamp. I guess you could just do that too.
Yeah,
Would probably be a lot cheaper.
I think I've still got my headlamp from when I was riding my bike to Lowe's. It's floating around somewhere.
Ooh, that's all.
I had to try
If that
that.
thing still works, I need to know what
I
brand it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if it still does.
Because Lowe's was, I
Well, that
feel like
was
that's in the teens now of years ago, right?
it was, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I left there like the very end of 2016.
2016. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess we're not teens yet. We're getting there. It's
No.
what is that? 8,
Yeah.
9 years? 8 something. I don't know. I'm so bad at math. Quick math. It's 7 million years or something. I don't know.
It kind of feels like it sometimes.
Well, that's not great. We got to use our headlamps the other day. I don't know if you heard about this at work. For some reason,
Mhm.
this last Saturday, they were like, "Hey, just you guys we're coming in at 6 instead of 7 because they're going to turn the power off at the post office for 12 hours and work on something." And I'm like, "What? Like, why don't we do that overnight or on Sunday? Like, we're still
Right.
delivering mail today." So we come in at 6 and we're putting our routes together so fast to try to beat them turning
Yeah.
the lights off.
Uh-huh.
Like, make sure you have your headlamps because sure enough, we get back at night. And again, the trucks all get parked in a garage. So it's pitch
Yeah.
black in the garage. So you're all going in there with headlights. I had to like go put my headlamp behind my truck so I could find the spot and then back into it. And then you're just
Oh,
walking
geez.
in the office with there's just a bunch of headlamps everywhere of people just coming back and
Oh,
like
gosh.
going through the mail at night and putting out, going away. And like everything still went smoothly and operated. But like,
Yeah.
it's, I wanted to play that. Was that from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? In the mine, in the mine.
In the mine.
So we dig. Yeah.
Although it's like depending on what kind of headlamps everybody has, and like because mine's got like the ones where you have different color lights and everything.
Oh, yeah.
If they had like a few of them that had the where you running, using the red light for whatever goofy reason, it would almost be like those scenes from Star Trek First Contact where you have like the Borg coming out of the the fog.
Oh, resistance is futile. Yeah, now I feel like a
Yep.
fog machine at the office would probably be pretty unsafe.
Yeah, it would be.
But Postal Rave, better than Postal Rage.
Uh,
Nice change of pace.
uh,
Oh my God! Well, rounding it back over, looping on back. What's the I don't know what the term is, but yeah, looping on back though to the miniatures though. I know that's something you've been into for a few years here, and I know
Yeah.
there was like a big break in you because we were really into the Lord of the Rings set when we were
Yep.
younger because we had that Games Workshop near the house, and I feel like you didn't do anything with them for a while. What brought you back into it?
it's just like this kind of random itch in my brain that hit.
Yeah.
Almost like I need something besides video games.
And cocaine.
Which-
yeah.
yeah, video games and cocaine. It's just so expensive.
What?
Says the guy who's still playing Games
miniatures.
Workshop when he got back.
I was going to say, I don't know what's more expensive, Games Workshop or cocaine. I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's like when I got back, it was mostly just kind of patching up the Lord of the Rings figures we had because they got jostled around, and sometimes getting jostled around in the move when a lot of them are plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff has a tendency to fall off.
Especially really long pikes. Those are not
Or
made to withstand it.
I mean, it seemed like most of the pikes seemed to survive it. I was surprised as a lot of the Uruk-hai swords were the ones that fell off.
No, you're right. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, those
And
were the days.
I've got a couple of them on my workbench now that actually the replacement swords fell off too.
Oh, no.
So I gotta find a way to patch those and kind of make it a little more permanent.
You'll get a kick
But
out of this. We were so in this D&D group I'm in up here, which is in person, which is something I've never had like
oh yeah,
like me and you did it maybe once or twice around the table.
yeah.
Play D&D, you know, that's gross, folks. But so the DM, my friend Milo, has a 3D printer, and so you make your character and everything. Like, all right, we'll have this
nice.
have this painted before you come back. And I was like, I haven't painted a mini in forever. So we go to Hobby Lobby, and I just grab like a paint set, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
I put music on. I just sat here painted my guy, and I was like, this is so cool, right? Everything dries. I don't even register because of the lighting in here. I had the wrong lamp on for painting.
Oh yeah.
So I show up not realizing this color palette was way brighter than I thought. So I show up with this dwarf fighter, and everyone goes, "Is that Ronald McDonald?" Like, it's just what I thought was going to be like gold inlays was like neon yellow, and like his hair was supposed to be like a dark red was like blaze orange. Like, it was so bad. And so this guy at the table goes, I'll take it home and I'll darken everything up and you'll be good. I'm like, awesome. Thank you so much. His miniatures look awesome. The dude's really good at painting. So he shows up the next session and it looks the exact same, but he put foliage on the base and he goes, I fixed it for you. I was like, what?
Well, I mean, to be fair though, if you actually look back to, you know, like the Middle Ages, you know, like a lot of what, you know, a lot of our fantasy is based off of, they actually wore some pretty garish stuff back then.
That's true.
Even into battle. Especially into battle.
Yeah, so my guy was just lore accurate then.
Yeah.
So I'm the better person at the table. Thank you, Clay. I needed that.
You're welcome.
I still remember we're walking through the mall, Colorado West Mall, giant mall. And coming around that corner, I'll still remember when we saw the Games Workshop thing. And I don't know if you knew what it was the first time we saw it. I didn't know. And I remember just walking up to the window and being like, yes, this is our future now.
Yeah, I was like, it took a little bit for me to decide what I was actually wanting to do when we first started. I think I mostly just gravitated towards the Lord of the Rings stuff because, you know, that was back when the movies were still coming out.
Oh yeah, I think Return of the King had just came out.
Or it was like, I think it might have been in the works when the timing's a little fuzzy for me.
Oh yeah. But it was fresh.
But this was, but I do know this was like back when, you know, Warhammer Fantasy was still like Warhammer Fantasy. They didn't blow that world up and then decide to bring it back for nostalgia brownie points. I think that was like several editions of 40K ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because I eventually started getting into 40K because there was a friend of mine back in the singles ward had like a group going where they were playing 40K. And this was like kind of the tail end of 7th edition.
Yeah, I won't know what certain editions are,
but
sadly.
This is like 20, I think this was like 2017.
Okay, so they're probably on like edition 12 now.
Just about. That was what kind of threw me off is like I eventually kind of quit Games Workshop entirely in the middle of the COVID thing. And at that point they announced that they was like, we're working on some changes to 8th edition, but it's like, you know, it was like a kind of an update, but it's not 9th edition. And then like a few months after they announced that, it rolls out and sure enough, it's 9th. They did the same thing a little while ago. You know, it's 10th edition. And now they're talking about like doing another update. It's like, yeah, this is 11th coming out.
Yeah, I can't keep up with this.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't miss at all.
Oh, yeah.
That and like having to pay $50, $60 for a single squad.
Oh, it's insane.
Of Chaos Marines. Yeah.
I don't know if I told you, but they opened a Warhammer store in town.
I think he did mention that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I went in there, and it's just the 40K, and then the new whatever the new rework of the fantasy, whatever that's. I can't remember what the term they use for it.
I know there's like, well, they're kind of doing two now. So it's like they came out with Age of Sigmar, which was like whole new lore. They came out with new factions for it and everything. And I think they eventually brought, like a year or so ago, they brought the old world back. So I brought it back to like the rank and flank and everything.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure they were just doing that to try and
get the nostalgia bucks.
Get the nostalgia bucks back, because it doesn't. I mean, they're still kind of like the big fish in the pond for miniatures gaming, but it kind of sounds like they're struggling now.
Well, yeah, it's so much because back in the day, a regular person could still enjoy the hobby, and it's like you can't do either. You can't. Everyone quits altogether, or they buy like one thing every. It's like for Christmas every year, like they get a box or something. That's not sustainable if everyone's going from once a month to once a year, getting something.
Well, and it was like when I was. That stretch when I first got into Warhammer, that was like back when they were kind of starting to come around to actually listening to the fans and whatnot.
Yeah.
They started. And then they kind of, they about faced, but it was like during that time, you had a bunch of other games that were starting to pick up steam. Like War Machine started getting big because everybody just got tired of G-Dub's shenanigans.
Yeah.
And actually, I've got that was another game that I picked up a while back, because they had like a group that was meeting really regularly at that Enchanted Grounds used to be on your route.
Yeah. Do you still go in there all the time, or?
I go in every now and then, but I usually try to go in when it's quieter.
Yeah, for sure.
Because for starters, it's like I got fallen so far out of the War Machine loop, and I was barely in it when I was actually showing up, that it almost be kind of awkward to kind of go back. But it's like anytime they got like big gaming groups in there, there's just too much going on for me to actually keep track of, kind of focus on any one thing.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like you need to know someone who's going to be there before you even go. Instead of sitting down at a full table of strangers, like, hey guys, which is probably not that hard to do, but the lead up to doing it is terrifying.
Yeah. But kind of one of the things I like is like a few years back, I started making the transition more to historical wargaming.
So like George Washington, the Fall of Rome, Adam and Eve.
More like,
that's a pretty cheap set. There's not a lot in that box set.
No, there wouldn't. There sure wouldn't be. You'd have to get like a whole lot of terrain to kind of compensate, but
not a lot of armor to paint. That's nice.
Yeah. But no, it's mostly my main thing has been the American Civil War.
Yep, I know you woke up one day and you were like, I am 100% Civil War all day, every day. Who are you rooting for, by the way?
The guys in blue. That's.
Oh yeah. Safe bet.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like the kind of the reason why I got into it was kind of a combo platter, because it's like I was just getting back into miniature wargaming just in general.
Yeah.
But it was like a combination of also kind of starting to take an interest in our family history, and then watching Gettysburg for the first time in years. So it's kind of like this intersection is eventually just like, okay, well, do we have any ancestors that actually were involved in this big fracas?
Do we? I don't know.
Oh, we had a bunch actually.
Oh no. Which side?
Okay, it was mostly the Confederacy.
Here we go.
Because Dad's side of the family was like all pretty well settled into the South.
The South will rise again.
Hit X to doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but although the funny thing is like the one confirmed ancestor that actually fought for the Union was on dad's side of the family, and he served in an Alabama Union regiment.
That's an awkward family reunion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as it turns out, it was like the only cavalry regiment from Alabama that fought for the Union, and they were actually General Sherman's bodyguards during his march to the sea.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Dang. So we were in it.
Yep. I remember telling one of my coworkers who was like the senior software engineer back when, a couple company names ago.
Yeah.
This whole thing. I was just like, I was like, most of my, telling him, most of the family that I know of that was in the war, but, fought for the Confederacy is like, oh, got a bunch of rebellion in your blood, huh? It's like, oh, you don't know the half of it. We got one that was rebelling against the rebels.
Yeah. That's a whole nother, that's rebelception.
Yep.
Huh. I mean, Dukes of Hazzard was a show I really liked. That makes sense now. Depression Gray has always been my favorite color. So, the math is math.
Yeah.
I moved further north. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, but so it's like so far I've found, let's see, we have two ancestors who were actually in the same brigade.
Oh, okay.
So it's like and they were like the first ones that I found out about. Another one that's like on Grandma Snyder's side, who was in an army that served a little further west than they did.
Okay.
Because we didn't have any. Because so far I haven't found any of our ancestors that actually fought under General Lee.
I'll never scratch my Dukes of Hazzard comment.
Yeah, I know.
F that show.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it seems like all our ancestors were the one, except for the one that fought for the Union, served under the generals that all the pro-Confederate guys nowadays don't really want to talk about.
Oh,
yeah.
No. So our guys were like bad. Is what you're saying? Well, is this the deep dark secret of the family?
Well, okay. I can't speak for the ones that act, for the ones that were actually like boots on the ground fighting. This is just me talking about like the generals that they served under.
Oh, I got you.
It was more because those generals just did not perform very well.
Oh, I thought how you worded it made it sound like it was like, like they were
my bad.
No, not bad at being a general, but like bad people. Okay, cool. Right. So they were just really bad at leading people into. Well, that's the best. We want those guys. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah. Our ancestors were bad at war for the wrong side. That's the best this could have gone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I did find some. I don't know if they were the same ones that actually fought, but there were at least one or two that actually did own slaves. It seems like most of the ones that actually did fight were like dirt farmers, so it's like they couldn't afford it. No telling what their attitude towards the whole thing would have been.
Yikes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like but it's like on the other hand, it's like if an entire branch of your family is settled south of the Mason-Dixon line at that period of time,
yeah, it's probably going to happen.
It's going to happen. It is what it is.
So I guess the important question then is was it like owned a couple? Was it like wealthy, like Django Unchained? You know what I mean?
I don't know for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, because if we were bad, I wanted us to at least be like rich and bad,
Yeah.
But none of that money came to us, so I guess we weren't. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's like that's how it's, because it's like on one hand you're like you can't. It's kind of hard to tell exactly how responsible you should actually feel for the whole thing if you weren't actually an active part of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I buy Uncle Ben rice, so I think I'm in the right.
But it's like, the same side of the family, we have a couple of ancestors that fought in the War of 1812.
Ooh.
One of
When
them
was that
had
again?
also. How many pieces are in the 8-piece meal?
Yeah.
I think it started in 1807.
Well, I mean, to be
Was
fair,
it
it didn't end.
1912?
It didn't end till 1815. So technically,
Yeah.
it's a good question.
And from a even then it technically actually ended in 1814. It's just we didn't get the memo until after New Orleans already happened. So,
Yeah, the United States declared
and
war on Britain. Oh, for some reason, I thought 1812 was Britain trying to come back and take over. I didn't realize we declared war on them.
Yeah, is kind of because we got fed up with them constantly, like the British Navy, constantly kidnapping our sailors.
Oh, okay.
And impressing them to the Royal Navy.
Yeah.
And I actually found out there's kind of like there's always like a split. It's never a clean cut. But you have like a lot of the old guard that was in like that were in the legislature at the time, who were just like, this is okay. This is how things have always been. It kind of got kicked off because there were enough of like the newer guys getting into Congress who were just like, no, we this crap has to stop.
Yeah, we fought him once. We'll fight him again.
Yeah,
we beat him with pitchforks. I think we can beat him with actual cannons this time.
Yeah, that war didn't actually go so hot for us most of the time.
Yeah.
At best, it was actually wound up being a draw.
Well, because that was a more naval thing, right? I'm so good at history.
Well, our track record was better on the seas than on land.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought it would be the opposite because the British Navy was like legend.
Everybody thought that, but we
Kinda
were
like
actually
when
doing.
Russia invaded Ukraine, and everyone's like, "Well, this will be over in a month," and it's like, "Wait a second,
yeah."
But their tanks are falling apart, and they're attacking in minivans. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, kind of going along with that though, is I was listening to like this really long, like UFO alien encounter iceberg video that somebody made.
Oh yeah.
And one of the last entries was like a recent sighting of one in Ukraine, and like they were pretty sure it's happened like in the past couple of years. So the guy's like, nobody really knew what it was, but considering they were already at war with Russia for a bit by the time this thing was seen, it may have been some top secret Russian technology. And I'm sitting there going, I kind of doubt it because that thing looks like it actually works.
yeah. That was so fun to watch. That first couple. I mean, it's been going on way too long. Obviously, people are dying.
Yeah.
It's awful. But can I just say, being able to watch a war happen live on TikTok is a experience. No, legit. Like I'm watching people do like TikTok dances, like in uniform in Ukraine, and they're like just killed like 5 dudes, and they're like, you're just like, what is happening? And like a guy shooting a helicopter out of the sky with an RPG, and he's just like, oh, all excited, looks back at the camera. It's like, it's such a weird thing to be like. War is going to be like, you can watch every second of it now. Like, could you imagine that in, the Civil War?
Well, like,
some dudes being like,
oh gosh,
selfie, General, Grant, whatever, it's like, what? It's so weird. It'll never be the same. You can't hide stuff anymore because everyone sees everything, which is like for the best.
It is. And it's like, it also kind of totally changes how you're actually how you can actually run a war too.
Oh yeah.
Because, now it's like you can have like all these disinformation campaigns going back and forth. Like when it actually first happened, I remember, kind of catching a lot of it live on Twitter back when I was still on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting here, I remember it's just like kind of weird because I was seeing a lot of people trying to liken it to like major pop culture franchises.
Oh yeah,
So they're trying to like make it's like, oh, it's this, Ukraine's the rebels and
Russia's
Russia's
the
the
empire.
empire, or it's like no, they're and now it turns out that they're more like the First Order.
Yeah.
They just can't do anything right. But it's like I'm
It's
sitting
fun.
here going but I'm just like, and then seeing everybody putting like Ukraine flags in their Twitter, on their Twitter handles and whatnot, and then I was kind of hanging with a bunch of people who were either kind of on the fence or were actually kind of leaning more towards supporting Russia just because the media was all pushing for Ukraine, and they're just like, we can't trust the media,
Oh
which you can't.
no, you can't. But that is a weird reason to support Russia.
But, I think they had some other reasons too. But I was kind of looking at it going, well, I mean, my thing was like for a bit, I was actually kind of leaning more towards supporting Russia just because the guys who are just trying to make the whole thing out to be like Star Wars, I'm just like, you guys are being ridiculous. You're making me swing the other way.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. Did you see at the beginning there was it was on the news. There was a guy who went over, two people from Texas, right? One went over and made this big deal about he was going to go fight with the Russians. You could tell there's just two dudes who are like, I just want to shoot people and it's cool, And then a guy who went over to fight for Ukraine. And you're like, in the middle of the line between Russia and Ukraine, there's two guys from Texas yeehawing and shooting at each other. And you're like, what is this world coming to?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was like the thing that kind of cracked, kind of boggled me though, was like, Putin said he was going in to, denazify Ukraine. So it's like he's going in there with like a paramilitary mercenary group, who had very strong neo-Nazi ties to denazify a country that also had at the time a bunch of like militia battalions who also had strong, were originally very strongly neo-Nazi, and then I guess I read somewhere like the President Zelensky was Jewish, and what I'm going, what kind of world are we living
It's
in?
that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other and it's just a bunch of neo-Nazis. You're just like, what? Yeah. Oh man, isn't the world great?
But I did actually read somewhere that there's like a news article where I guess the one big militia battalion that I guess is now more like more brigade size now.
Yeah.
Has actually dropped a lot of their the neo-Nazi ideology and a lot of those ties. So now they're on our to supply list.
Oh, so they're gonna build us a rocket to go to the moon. Is that what's happening right now? I'm sensing a pattern.
Who knows?
Yeah. Like what is we got? There's those there's those two towns in Brazil. One's full of Germans and one's full of Confederate soldiers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the crazy thing is like that game I've been looking to set up. The alternative one was like kind of with World War II, but everybody's starting to find gateways to alternate dimensions.
So
I was doing some reading up on it. It's just like Brazil back then was just wild.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy because it's like I was stunned because reading that they were like the only South American country. Okay, let me maybe South like. I guess South, we'll just say only South American country that wasn't like a European colony.
Yeah.
Got to specify that actually sent troops over to fight for the Allies. But then they were also letting the Luftwaffe build air bases out in the Amazon or something. I'm just going.
By the way, sounds like a delicious food.
The Luftwaffe?
The Luftwaffe. Like if that was on a menu, I would order that
Durch mein
so
Luftwaffen?
fast. Exactly. Mein teacher? Well, and I
Yeah,
can't
well,
remember
I
what
mean-
that town is, but they do a yearly celebration. I don't know if you've seen this, and like they legitimately do like
No, I
line
haven't.
dances. They have the Confederate flag. Like people dress up in the uniform, like
Well-
because that's where when the war ended, so many of those guys came down and made it like I gotta look at what the town's called, but
Actually, that does make a lot of sense because I know, like, at that time, Mexico was in the middle of yet another one of their civil wars. I guess is like they were fighting, trying to overthrow the government that, like, the second or third French Empire set up there. Which, I mean, that's just that story is just crazy in and of itself. But I know there's like after all the Confederate armies started surrendering, there were actually a bunch of Confederate soldiers that went down south of the border to offer their services to the guys to the French Emperor of Mexico, who was actually an Austrian or something like that.
yeah, here it is.
Just wild. So it actually wouldn't surprise me if there was a whole bunch of them that just made their way down to Brazil and
Oh yeah, there's
maybe
a
even
whole
some other
town
parts
of
of
all
South
white
America.
people. They, I think the Brazilians call it Confederados or something like that. This is here. I'm sending you DMing you a picture. This is legitly
Okay.
what this. It's a big celebration they do every year. I can't make this up.
Wow.
Giant Confederate flag dance floor. They're wearing gray uniforms. Women
Yeah.
dressed like Southern belles.
I'm not even sure if you can even get away with that in the South anymore.
No, you can't. That's why they all go to. So many like people travel
wild.
to this town every year for this thing. You're like, oh boy. Oh, good times. Well,
Yeah, I mean-
to stay on the same. Oh no, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Yeah, it still kind of baffles me that there are a lot of people who think that the South was on the right side of the whole thing. I mean, for a bit, I actually kind of was after finding out about, our ancestry and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Part of it because it's just like you just don't really want to just kind of compartmentalize it and kind of separate it from the, slavery and everything. But it's like, you kind of can't.
No, and it's important to
It's
realize
like-
that's a thing
yeah.
that happened. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. Again, if history's doomed to repeat it, but the only way
Wow.
the South is on the right side of that war is if you're looking at a map rotated sideways.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh boy, good whistling
wow,
Dixie
I mean,
in
this is-
Brazil. What a great thing!
That's
What a great thing!
it. Just, I mean, I guess considering how many, it also kind of doesn't kind of make sense because it's like how many Nazis actually made their way over to South America. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
why not, ex Confederates? Because
it's the place to be. Listen,
yeah,
weather-wise, it probably feels like home. You know what I mean?
well, maybe
Hot
a bit
and
more.
muggy.
Just maybe a tad more humid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I served my mission, north of Brazil,
That's true.
just north, and it was like 80% humidity year round, and you'd probably get like the only change would be if it spiked a bit ahead of one of the big rainstorms. And I mean, like, rainstorms.
Well, speaking of the Confederacy, though, what games are you playing these days?
Oh,
That's a professional transition.
very professional. Are we just talking overall?
Yeah, overall, I mean,
Like
I know.
computer, tabletop, all that?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay. Well, kind of going along with your transition,
Oh, boy.
I am like, I've kind of stalled a little bit on it, but I do need to get back to it.
Okay.
But
He's reaching over the computer right now.
yeah, because it's like all my tabletop rule books are like right behind where I have the laptop parked.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, but I've got like and I'm not even really doing like full on historical wargaming. It's more like you just take actual historical troops and tactics and whatnot and apply it to fictional settings.
Cool.
That's my
Yeah.
yeah. Well, like a lot of that, it's kind of been a thing pretty much since miniature wargaming actually picked up. But I also kind of do it just because I don't have enough figures to do most of the actual historical battles.
It figures.
I'm kind of stalled in a campaign. I got to get back to it, where I'm actually using 2 separate rule sets.
Oh, that's not confusing.
Up. No, actually, it isn't.
Oh, good.
So it's like I've got this one right here. Oh, let's see if I can actually. So
with hot lead
and cold steel.
Okay.
Yep. So this one's for. I'm using this one for kind of the bigger battles. So it's like you got units that are actual representing regiments and whatnot. And I didn't know this until after I'd ordered off of Amazon. But this game had only been out for like a few months.
Oh, dang!
When I picked it up, yeah. So it's brand new on the scene. I actually really like it.
Cool. Yeah, keep me updated on that.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
And then for like the smaller battles, like the skirmishes, like the one that I showed on the Discord, a few months ago, which is actually the prelude to the battle that I still need to fight.
They're still sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Hello, but we're ready to fight.
Yeah. But for that one, I've got this guy here, Rebels and Patriots.
Okay.
And I was like, I know it's kind of hard to see with the lighting and whatnot.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah. But I think this one is like, it actually integrates pretty well with the other one, even though the rules, the game mechanics are totally different. But this one, you've got like an officer that you kind of put together. It's kind of like part way between war game and role playing.
Oh, okay. Oh, I dig that.
Yeah. So it's like you got like an officer who starts off, every battle you gain, honor. That's kind of like their experience points.
Oh, okay.
And you have different traits and whatnot. So I've actually done more battles in that campaign with the skirmish game than with the full battle set. And I'm just going to say that the guys in gray have not fared so well in the skirmishes.
Whoo! Must be led by our ancestors.
No telling.
Oh my God.
But so that's kind of the main thing as far as the tabletop stuff, besides trying to put that alternative game together.
Yeah, that's going to be so cool when that gets done, though.
Yeah. The part that I'm kind of stalled out on that right now is actually kind of the timeline, because I was hoping to kind of stretch it out. So it's like the war had gone on for like another 5 years or so and all the stuff there. But I'm kind of having brain farts trying to work out how it would stretch out, even with all the help from the alternate universes. So I may just kind of start it.
Well, 1815's when the war ended.
No, wrong war.
Wrong
war.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about that one.
No,
I was looking up stuff that was invented in 1820 for you to help you out. The only thing I came up with was the pickling machine. I don't think that helps you.
Not so much. I mean, it might help with ration preservation, but that's about it. But no, that one, the alternative one was the one where it's like alternate World War II.
Oh, that's right, World War II, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at inventions in 19. Let's go 19. Let's go 48. Here we go. The Frisbee.
Yeah.
There you go. That changes everything.
Yeah. Oh, it sure does.
Velcro. Dude, they fought World War II without Velcro. Think about that, folks.
Well,
I actually never even thought about
Velcro. They fought it without super glue.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because like the first, I didn't know this until a few years ago, but like the first uses for super glue was actually for like doing a temporary patch-up job of gunshot wounds in the Vietnam War.
The slinky was invented in 1943. So at the very end of the war, soldiers were able to go, whoa! They got to go to the eagle's nest and do a slinky down the stairs. This is fun. I want to do this forever.
Where the slinky stopped, there's no telling.
Yeah. That could change your timeline right there.
Well, it's like one of the things I found out from that UFO iceberg that was, I guess it was apparently there was like a UFO that was supposed to have crashed in northern Italy in like 1933.
Yeah,
you know, back when Mussolini was in charge. Classic. And that would have also been back. That also would have been back when most everybody still liked him.
What's a fun name to say?
It is.
Yeah.
But apparently everybody thought he was actually all right. You know, what he was doing what he had done for Italy and everything, until he threw in his lot with the angry mustache man.
Yeah. Well, you know,
what I didn't know, but I also didn't know that those two didn't even get along that well either.
Well, I think their big issue was hair products. He was really trying to push, you know, hair Mussolini. You know, and it wasn't sticking as well.
Yeah. All these tangents we keep going on.
I know.
But apparently it's like at the end of the war, even after Italy actually switched sides.
Yeah.
I guess it was like, apparently there's supposed to be some big competition over who was actually going to get this flying saucer that crashed in northern Italy.
Interesting.
And from the little bit that I'd heard, apparently we won that competition. So it's like we got one that crashed in Italy. There was one that crashed in Roswell.
Yeah.
That the government, you know, flipped and said it's a weather balloon. I guess there's another one that had crashed in 41 in the States that we also got a hold of. I'm like, we just collect crash flying saucers like they're Pokemon cards or something.
Well, I mean, listen, when you make a movie called Independence Day about aliens, it's like, it's on brand. Like, we have to.
Well, this is all like before the movie had even come out, but I think it still kind of makes sense.
Is it though? I think Independence Day has just kind of always existed.
It's the eighth wonder of the world.
It really is. I'm coming home, boys. Well, no, I mean, it makes and that's why we have, you know, the strongest military in the world, because of alien technology, right?
Probably.
Yeah. That's actually how we discovered Velcro. Was the aliens. It was from the one that crashed in Italy. We're like, what is this?
It's a Velcro.
It's a Velcro. Yeah. That's why it crashed. So they seal the UFOs with Velcro.
Oh, God.
You know, I don't know, if, you know, flying around here, they were probably watching us for a while. Cat hair gets stuck in Velcro. The seal doesn't get as good. So it created a rupture. They crashed. We discovered it. Wow, this is so cool. Sticky, tack. Wow, this is great, you know?
Yeah.
Could you imagine, though, after all the years of great sci-fi, that we legitly, aliens are just like in crocheted ships that are held together by Velcro? What would that do to you?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
It's just, they're not UFOs. They're just doilies.
Oh,
grandmas were right all along.
Yep.
The more you know. How's that? Speaking of aliens, this is actually a good transition. How's that Mass Effect playthrough going through? We don't need to deep dive into it at all, but
no.
Because obviously it's for a game club. But I noticed, I didn't 100% hear that you were going to be part of the game club, and then I noticed you getting a bunch of achievements in Mass Effect the other day, and I was like,
yeah. Well, it surprised me is how easy it is to actually pick up a lot of the achievements. And then you go and look at it and you go on only a certain small percent, only this percentage I'm going of players actually got it. It's like going, really?
Oh, dude, the amount of games I have where I have an achievement for like finishing the first mission in the game. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
only 70% of players have gotten this. I'm like, it's the first mission. Like 30% of people buy the game and never play the first mission. What is this?
I have no idea what's going on there, but no, it's like I've been enjoying it, especially after, creating my shepherd.
Oh yeah, it is.
So it's like the first,
glorious.
so yeah. So yeah, it's like the first time I sat down to play it after I, actually created him and everything, I would just giggle like a maniac every time he showed up on screen.
I know what you were going for, but I still think it's the boss from The Incredibles. Way more.
Yeah, I was like, I know they had like the one hairstyle was like it was like the mostly bald except along the side, but I'm going, if you don't have the comb over, the purpose is defeated.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, again, not to get too much into it because there will be an entire podcast episode about Mass Effect, but how are you enjoying the Legendary Edition version of Mass Effect 1? Because they completely overhauled so much in it compared to what we used to play it on the Xbox 360.
Well, it had been so long since I played it at all that, besides the fact that I played a few side quests I don't remember doing ever.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to kind of tell difference between Legendary and the old
Classic,
version.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess not everyone's a freak like me and plays it every year. The Legendary Edition was such an exciting thing for me. I was weeping. I was so excited.
I was just excited to see that it was, up. It was on the summer sale and it was up for like $6. Going,
yeah. It was 90% off.
I paid for each game.
I know, it's so
without
good.
the DLC.
I could not believe when we announced we were going to do that as the game club. The next day, Ashley was like, "Hey, did you know it's on sale for like 90% off?" I was like, "You could not plan that any better. This is perfect."
No, you couldn't. And all of a sudden, it seems like everybody on the Discord's playing it.
The thing I'm super excited about. We won't get too far in the weeds here about it. We have some Discord questions to get to, and they're going to be good.
Yeah.
But at first, I expected the game club to be like one person. Like Ashley's never played through it. I knew Russ had started it, but he never played through all the Mass Effect games. So I was like, all right, we'll have two people who've never played it. And then a bunch of my friends are like, yeah, I play it all the time. We're just going to replay it for the game club. And we have probably more people that have never played Mass Effect before that are going to be doing this. And I'm like, that's so exciting for all these fresh perspectives on it. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite game series of all time and a bunch of fresh eyes on it. Thank you, Steam Summer Sale.
Right?
Oh, man. All right. You want to get into some of these Discord questions, brother man?
Let's.
There's some good ones in here. All right.
I know, some of them I got dizzy reading.
Yeah, for sure. Some people, it's tough reading how people write it in here. People's handwriting's rough. Wait, that's nothing to do with the Discord. Sorry. First question coming in from Mrs. Fudd. Spoiler, that's my wife. She says, "Who's your favorite sister-in-law?"
Oh, what a tough choice that is.
It's brutal.
Absolutely. Because it's like, do I pick your wife or do I pick your wife?
Yeah. It'd be a lot easier if I did the sister wives thing and had like 9 of them. This would be a really good question. Create some drama. It'd be good for TV.
Oh my gosh, that would create so much drama in that kind of situation.
It's a night, dude.
Holy cow.
Lisa used to watch that show all the time, and I'm like, how does this guy not commit suicide? Like, anyone who's been like one wife, and not like it's. I'm not saying this in like the classic, like, the old ball and chain, but like, it's a lot of effort to have a successful marriage, and then you do that with 8 other women on top of that. I'm like, no, thank you. That's way.
Yeah.
I work full time. I'm like, no, I don't have the time for this. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Next question coming from Beard Grizzly. How many more family members do we have to worry about with you?
So many.
We had my little sister. We got my older brother now. My daughter has done an episode. So now my son has to do an episode. And then Lisa will do an episode. That's 3. Just to piss everyone off, should we just start getting cousins and everyone on here? Just go down the line?
Maybe, yeah.
We're going to build a time machine,
But
go back to our Confederate relatives and sit them down.
See if we can understand them.
Yeah. What are these words? I don't understand anything you're saying right now. We'll have to take them to Brazil so they can translate for us.
Right.
That's a cool.
Well, it's like that kind of, yeah, that also kind of takes me back. It's like I had a few people back when I was still in the singles ward.
Yeah.
It was like when they'd find out that such and so was my cousin, because we had John and Kyle were both in there while I was in there, and they'd be like, "Wait, they're your cousins? How many Snyders are there?
A lot.
You guys breed like jackrabbits." It's like, not really. It's just like, 2 or 3 here, 3 or 4 there.
Well, come on, look at us. Who wouldn't want to breed like jackrabbits?
Yeah, I guess there's a.
Which actually takes us to the next question, coming in from Demolition 2000, and I'm pretty sure it's directed directly at you. There's no way it's a question for me. I don't know. They knew you like this though. What do you know? Were you always this sexy, or did you age like a fine wine?
I guess I guess I'm going to go with age like a fine wine, I guess.
It's the Snyder way.
Because, like, yeah, because it's like, I'll still occasionally get people that approach me as like, years and years after high school. Is like, "Hey, Clay, you remember me? So-and-so." It's like, sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast. How am I supposed to remember?
Right?
Or I remember there's like one guy that actually, got a little offended. He's just like, "But I was in your ward for like 6 months or something." I just went, "So?
Do you know how little I saw you once a week for 6 months 10 years ago? What is that going to?
Maybe twice if we were both showed up for activities."
And that's if you actually communicated with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that, and it's like, on top of that, I'm just usually pretty bad with, keep connecting names and faces anyway.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
it's been fun. The hodgepodge of like Facebook friend requests I get from people I went to school with to this day. And I'm like, I had one class with you. Like, I don't know, but it is fun to like, you'll go in and kind of Facebook stalk for a little bit and you'll be like, this person was a total F up in school. And you'll be like, they're still doing really bad at life. Okay, good. Or like someone who you're like, oh, they have like, they have a really nice marriage. They bought a house. They have a bunch of kids. It's like, oh, that's fun. Some of those people I have actually reconnected with because you're like, oh, you're totally different than you were in high school because I hated you back then. But it's just, I would never, like, the amount of these that pop up, I'm like, I've never, ever had the desire to like, I'm going to look up people from school and send them like, I don't know what your life is where you're sitting in bed going, you know what? I should see what this person's up to that I talked to once.
Well, you know me. I'm so much of a house cat that I'd have a hard time even having the desire to socialize with people like directly.
That's true.
Much less connect a bunch online, even though it's usually a little easier to. I'm not even going to say it's necessarily easier to be friends online. It's just.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Connections are tricky.
They really are. Next one from Beard Grizzly. It is a GIF, and I will conduct the question as follows. Who's your daddy, and what does he do?
Well, I don't know. Would it be considered doxing if I actually called him by his actual name and whatnot, or
We'll just call him Old Fart
a little
McGee.
fuzzy?
I think that's his name. Yeah, we don't need to use his name.
He is dead, and he has done many things in his lifetime.
This is very true. Currently, he has
driven dump trucks.
Yeah, and he's got a dump truck.
Has done like a bunch of appliance repairs, and sold used ones. And he still does a little bit of that every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Now his it's like now he's like full-time lift driving and trying
like
to get the doTERRA thing off the ground too.
15,000 rides and 5 stars or something crazy.
Oh yeah.
He's a legend. He's a legend. And I won't be surprised you go to Lyft headquarters, there's a statue of him.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Coming in from Bill Nye's bow tie. Which of your siblings has the best facial hair? And to remind you, Ashley did post that picture of her.
Yeah,
with the hat,
it
is phenomenal and really brings up a
it
tough
is
choice.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that's like instantly removable. So that's like trying to say that that's like the best tattoo ever when you can just wash the removable ones off.
You bring up a good point.
So I'm going to say you just by sheer quantity.
Thank you.
And also like just the way it's, everything's shaped and everything.
Yeah.
The maintenance on that sucker's impressive.
Well, because
usually I wind up having to just like trim and I overdo it sometimes.
If this pisses you off, this is pure laziness. There's a lot of effort.
Sometimes pure laziness yields the best results, though.
That's what I tell my managers at work all the time. They don't believe me. Follow-up question from Beard Grizzly to remind everyone the first question was which of your siblings has the best facial hair. He asks also, who smells the worst? This is tough.
It is tough.
Because I work outside and Ashley is a woman.
I'm just going to say me because that's just the easiest choice.
Yeah. I think we can all agree. Basement troll.
Yep.
A couple questions from Blue Laser, which are actually good questions. I didn't think she had it in her. She was able to open Discord, write words out correctly, create. I'm very proud of her. She's come really far in her education.
Miracles never cease.
When did you become such an incredible artist? That was really nice.
Ooh, that was really nice.
Because you do a lot of her thumbnails for YouTube and stuff, which are fantastic.
I do. Yeah, I do like all her thumbnails and the profile pics.
Yeah.
I think the only one that isn't mine is the one she has for the Discord. Because that one was done by Izzy.
Yeah, which is also incredible.
It is. It really is. As far as, when I actually became an incredible artist, I find myself not sure if I'm even there yet, to be honest.
That's a good answer.
Because you're always you're looking at your stuff and it's like yeah, it's as good as I can get it, but it's like you're always like I could be improving this this part, like I could be doing better at doing proper perspective drawing.
Yeah.
Anatomy is usually consummate V's, majesty, the whole works. Forget chiaroscuro shading. At that point, you're just showing off and being completely pointless and ridiculous, and probably a bit depressing too.
Well, in the with art, in the inspirational words of my freshman year of high school art teacher, you should give up.
Oh, yeah. I remember actually because it's like all the stories, from your time working with her, and then Louis had a lot of the same.
Yeah.
It's so cartoony. It looks retarded.
Yes.
Yeah,
I forgot she said that.
Yeah, it's like that crap did not fly with me.
No.
So it's like she started into that when I did my first project, and it completed. She's like, "Oh, it looks so cartoony." I was like, "Yeah, so." I was just saying.
I was just a little freshman. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And she's Russian, which is like terrible. She had the thick accent. I was terrified.
That was actually I actually had a lot of fun listening to her talk.
Oh, me too. Yeah. When she wasn't berating me and telling me to give up on my dreams, I really enjoyed my time in there.
Yeah. But it was like after, hearing your stories and Louis' stories, it's like, nope, this isn't happening. I'm pushing back. But I think the only other time that she did push was after that one. I don't know if you remember. It was that drawing that I did was like the two cowboys fighting off the
Oh,
zombies.
I do remember this. Yes.
I still have it
Yeah,
tucked away somewhere.
Yeah, I remember seeing it a
It's
few years
amazing
ago.
that thing was actually hung up in the art hall. Considering how graphically violent it actually was.
Listen,
But
my
yeah.
Viggo Mortensen, on top of whatever
Yeah.
was that Avril Lavigne's head, that was on the wall in school too. So
But I remember after I'd finished that up, she's like, "Well, maybe you could try, because it was like everything I'd done before that was some kind of like, was just some kind of pencil and ink drawing.
yeah,
That one was like actually me branching out because I was actually using the nib ink and dipping it in and everything, which is also why there was so much, what wound up being blood splatter because it's like I just couldn't control the ink. So I was like, well, we're gonna have a bunch of
That's
blood
blood.
splatter here. Yep. But after I'd finished that, she was just like, maybe you could try a different medium now, like maybe charcoal. And I went, no, I'm sticking with ink. Oh, you just try to branch out. It's like, no, I'm sticking with ink. Oh, you're so pig-headed, like Matt.
like Matt. That's so perfect. That needs to be a shirt. That is the best description.
Yeah.
Next question from
Badge
Blue
of
Laser.
honor.
What's the smallest figure you've ever painted?
She knows because her and mom would be giving me grief about it all the time back when I was doing it. But it was like the smallest I do now is a 6 millimeter.
Oh, that's
which
tiny.
For those who aren't in the know, when you hear millimeter in the terms of miniature scale, that's how many millimeters they're taking to depict your average infantryman, basically. Head to foot. Sometimes it's but sometimes it's crown to head, sometimes it's to the soles to the bottom of the feet or whatever. But for a while I was actually doing 3 millimeter.
Jesus.
Yeah. And this is back when I was still working part-time at Lowe's. I was having to pay multiple sets of student loans off and whatnot. So I was like on a shoestring budget, if that.
Oh yeah. And you
So I
have
was
the
like,
younger, steadier hands.
Yeah. And eyes.
Yeah.
But it's like I just do that. So it's like I've got a couple of good sized, pretty decent sized sets of armies for Civil War. So it's like a whole bunch of little bitty dudes in blue and gray. And I was starting to do like a World War II project. I was going to do 3 millimeter Stalingrad, so Germans against Russians. But that kind of petered out.
Yeah.
And it was like all the time they'd be like, they'd see the stands of figures because it's like it's rare at that scale to have like individual figures.
Oh, absolutely.
Because why would you? Yeah.
But it'd be insane to even make.
They'd look at it and they'd just be like, why? I'm going, well, it's cheap. I can get a bunch of them and I can store both armies in a tackle box.
Yeah. I'm still able
there's
to
actually
do
a
my
reason for it. But I quit. I decided to quit doing that. During everything that was going on with mom's cancer and everything.
Oh yeah.
And it was like that was actually after I'd kind of got figured out that what to actually say during the deathbed transition phase. I actually mentioned that I was moving away from the 3 millimeter figures. I was going to start doing large ones. I already picked out a manufacturer of 10 millimeter for
that's a jump.
The Civil War stuff. It is a jump. Like you can actually tell the different kinds of cannons apart at that scale.
Oh yeah, you're like, wow, these guys have sleeves. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. Because like I remember telling her about that, and her eyes just got huge. And I was like, for a bit, you weren't sure if it was like just her losing control. I was like, no, that was actually her actually reacting to it because I would do that partly because I was doing the 3 millimeter, partly because of all the reasons that I gave.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
partly just to mess with both of them.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
you. Do you like green eggs and ham?
I don't know if I've ever had green eggs and ham.
I think I have once.
I mean, I like regular eggs and I like regular ham.
Yeah. It tastes the same.
It's just different color.
Yeah, exactly.
So I probably would if I actually had it.
There we go. That answers that question.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Hurdle 3K. Inspired by recent gifts, which is small violins and chickens playing guitar and such. Do you play any instruments?
Yes. Well, I should say used to. Because, Mom had all of us learn at least some piano.
Attempted to learn me some piano.
Yeah. Had to bribe us with Star Trek and Star Wars micro machines to get us to practice.
Yep. It worked.
It did work, though. It did. I picked up the violin in middle school mostly just so I could have a class with Kyle Carney.
Yep. Makes sense. Checks out.
Yeah. And then in high school, I'd picked up the electric guitar, and for a while, that was like
A long while.
that was my life.
Oh, yeah.
For a while, yeah,
I
like you
loved
remember those days.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. You'd serenade the family. You'd learn a new song, come up and have her. It was good. Got you out of the basement. It was a beautiful thing. I gotta say, man, you had a great stance. There's some pictures out there. You with the guitar. You look good with the guitar in your hand.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
There's some
Well, it's
many
like
a cringy video saved from Mom on the Google stuff that I accidentally found a couple months ago, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I don't know, sometimes it just feels like me and cringe just go hand in hand on accident.
All of us, Clay. There's videos of Ashley. I go, oh no. There's videos of me. I go, a lot of videos of me where I go, someone was friends with me. There's no way.
Right. But it's like I've tried off and on since since high school, and actually since coming back from the mission, to pick the guitar back up.
Yeah.
But during that whole stretch where I was working at Lowe's, I was like really early mornings. You're kind of drained after that.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of hard to really pick up much of anything.
I'm going to slightly change his follow-up question in case you didn't play one, but just because it'd be fun. What instrument would you love to instantly be a master at?
Oh gosh.
I think the banjo. I would love to wake up tomorrow, and that's not a joke. Like that is cool to just wake up and just suddenly be a master of the banjo. Like you can fit in.
Well, I mean, besides that, like you hear. Well, it's like besides that, like you hear guys who actually are masters of the banjo. They're amazing to listen to. It's a joy to listen to.
Yeah, being really good at guitar is cool, but when you find someone who's like legitly a master of the banjo, it's such a different tool set. Lisa's brother Andrew was trying to learn banjo for a while, and he like gave up. He's like, it's just so the plucking's all backwards. He's like, I can't do.
Oh
this.
Yeah, it was like I know there's a couple of guitarists that I looked up to that had picked up the banjo picking technique, and I was trying to figure it out for a while. It's
brutal.
It's like doing all that with the pick. It's
nuts.
It's just ridiculous, is what it is.
Well, what instrument would you like to instantly be the master of?
Probably the drums.
Yeah, that'd be really
just
cool.
Because. I mean, this is the things, because like how like when I was into guitar, it was like I was into guitar.
Oh yeah.
Even during that stretch, there were a few guys that actually really made me want to, pick up the drums. And I think they're like a lot of the usual guys, Keith Moon, Neil Peart, Mike Portnoy.
Yep.
Yeah.
We said it at the same time.
Those were my three.
Yeah. I love that.
And actually, probably John Bonham and Ian Pace also were like my guys for drums. I just love how they actually kept the rhythm and their fills and everything, just the way they play it. I actually surprised Ashley because it's like during the COVID thing, John Petrucci came out with another solo album.
I remember this. Yes.
And Mike Portnoy was one that actually did the drums on it. And when I started listening to hearing the drums, I'm going, that sounds like Portnoy. It sounds a lot like Portnoy. And then I see the video and it was him. I'm going, oh my gosh. And it's like, and actually it's going, you can actually tell who the drummer is. I was like, yeah, there's like a certain way they do things, like a particular way they kind of hit the snares. And she's just so like,
fun.
Or the cymbals. It's like, how can you do that?
I can pick up on that with a lot of guitarists. If they're doing cover songs, it just comes on the radio. I'm like, I think I know who this is. And it's like, oh, it is. That's awesome.
Well, it was like for a while, I was actually able to kind of pick up on what style of guitar was being used.
Oh, that's
and
huge.
Even what and even like the type of pickup and what position the pickup was in, just from the sound of
his allergies were rough that day. He had a bagel in the morning with an everything bagel. Yeah.
Well, didn't go that far, but I was just be like, I'd be like, okay, that's a Les Paul. Les Paul's all had humbuckers. yeah. But it's like but it's like the humbuckers is like in the neck position just from the sound. It's like that kind of a thing.
I'm not proud of that.
It was pretty good.
I'm not proud of it.
Okay. I am, just because you're not.
Yeah, good. Is it better to have baited a master of master being a baiter? Is one supposed to better the baiter with butter in order to bait him to become the master of butter baiting masturbators?
I'm amazed you could read it that quickly with a straight face.
Thank you. That's why I read it with a gay face now.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I got dizzy reading. So
I got you.
I'd hate to disappoint, but I'm going to say no comment because I just couldn't follow any of it.
Got it. Well, and to end on a wholesome note here, I guess, coming in from the third wheel, who always hits us right where we live. If you could tell Fudd one thing you appreciate about him, what would it be? And then I have to do it to you, I guess. God.
Oh gosh. Do they do that with all your guests, or?
No, this is a question for I guess because we're related. He wants us to say nice things to each other. So.
Oh gosh. He wants to torture us. That's what it is.
You're not always a total dick. How's that? Does that count?
Oh. I was like, I always appreciate how you've always been looking out for me in your own particular way. This isn't trying to be like a backhanded compliment, but it's like you're like, I still think about that time when you roped me into Russell, that first D&D campaign with Russell.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, you need to get in on this because you're socially retarded.
Still true.
It is still true.
And it was fantastic for you.
It was. Well, part of that was also just because it's like we had the right group of people, because it's like a lot of times when I've had to be, in a certain group because that's supposed to be good for, my social health or whatever, it doesn't work out.
Oh yeah. It helped. You're right. It was the right group of people that all had kind of the same things. So everyone understood each other. We were just there to have a really good time. I'll still watch that stupid clip of when we switch the scenes over while everyone's heavy breathing and just watching everyone start breaking. It's just great.
Oh.
And then Ethan
or the time
puking
we
in my
tried to
mouth
out-pun each other.
Yeah. Ethan puking in my mouth while no one notices what's going on. And I think I rolled a 4. What does that do? Is that a thing? Well, I'm like running out of the room with puke all over my face while Lisa's laughing. Good times. Anyway, sorry, you were complimenting me.
Yeah. But it's like you've always been there as a support for me in whatever I've been trying to do, or even trying to actually kick me into doing something that actually would be good for me. And thankfully, when you have, it actually has been good for me.
I don't know, which helps. Yeah. If something didn't work, there's no way I could get you to do something again.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Colin.
But then it's also been great because it's like you're always been very direct about it. and with kind of a bit of a, also with like a bit of a rude sense of humor, which also for some reason really clicks with me.
Well, because it's the amount of times that like even still Ashley will be like trying to nicely beat around the bush, or back in the day mom would do it, and I was like, give me a second, and I just go down there, hey, numbnuts, get up, we got to go do something, you know. Fine, okay, I'll get up, you know.
Well, it's like, Ashley's been, well, it's like Ashley's been picking up on having to be more direct.
Oh, yeah.
With me when there's something going, when there's something that needs to be addressed, which is great because that's what I actually respond to. When people kind of beat around the bush, it's like you can, and sometimes, and a lot of times it's like I can tell that there's something that they're trying to get at, but they're like trying to tiptoe around it, just
well, it's fun with you too, because sometimes
it's more painful.
You can tell someone's beating around the bush, but you're so focused on how they're doing it that you're not trying to figure out what it is. So it's like you're not picking up, which is why you have to be direct, because you know they're doing it, but you don't know what it is, so you can't jump ahead. So you need someone to pop out of the bush and be like, "Hey!" It's fun to watch.
Oh. Yeah, actually had that happen. Something like that happened a few weeks ago at church, because it's like I'm having to do the Zoom calls and everything. The Zoom meetings with this laptop. I still need to follow up on, because I've given the information to the bishopric about the replacement and whatnot. So it's like every now and then when like the Relief Society presidency forgets to bring another laptop, most of them are pretty good about just come up and just like getting right to it, and they're also really polite about it. It's like I'm good with direct and polite, but if it's like polite but no direct, well, you've seen how it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I had one of them was just kept asking all these questions, kind of getting to a roundabout thing. Is like I could tell that what she was trying to get at, but again, I was so focused on giving the information that she kept asking for. Just like I just kept dancing around in circles, and eventually just like, what?
Answer me.
Yeah, but it's really entertaining for people on the outside when they're kind of aware of it, but it's incredibly frustrating for me being right in the middle of it.
Oh, and I love just walking straight in. Hey, I've been dealing with this for days. I just can't get through with it. All right, give me 8 seconds. I'll be right back. So fun. Well, kind of the same thing back to you, is in the same way, you were always, no matter what anyone's doing in the family, unless they're certain uncles, you're always supportive, and anytime I've been into something, a lot of things you've gotten me into, and you've been really good at not being like, you have a real special way of getting people into things where it's not like, here, you'll love this, you have to enjoy it, watch, B, it's like you nurture it slowly. And like, if you notice that like one part of it I'm really interested in, and it wasn't the thing you thought, you like move yourself to kind of help nurture. You're really good at nurturing, what I want to do and be interested in and moving forward, and it's been cool our whole life, whether it's gaming or, walking or movies or, it's just like, I don't know. You just always been really, I don't know. You've just been always a really cool, awesome older brother,
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being, cool and shit, Yeah.
Of course, funny is like when you're talking about the kind of gently bringing people in and whatnot, and the directing going, I do all that on accident.
Well, yeah, which is
I
funny.
don't even think about it.
You're the most impatient person ever, if there's noise involved. You're so impatient with a lot of things, but like if someone has an interest in something, you just like, okay, let's let this thing happen. Let's see how this goes. And it's really cool. Like when I was really bad at playing the
Thank
bass,
you for that.
or
Yeah.
any of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Still got the bass down here too.
you sure do.
It's off in the corner, and I think the amp's floating around somewhere. I think it's, let's see here. That's probably the Fender there. I know there's I still got like 3 or 4 amps down here, and most of them are just acting as second shelves now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, to break things up, let's end the episode here with what's something you hate about Ashley. I know it's so easy; it's tough to decide on something.
No, honestly, it's actually really hard to come up with something.
I know. Yeah, it was a funny bit in my head, but now we're probably going to end up saying something really nice.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't even go there. We're going to end up being really nice to her, and she's going to listen to it and be thankful, and we can't have that. So we'll just worry about it. No, let's both say something with that question, because it's a great question. It's something like that didn't get asked when Ashley had an episode. So what's something you appreciate about Ashley? Because she's going to probably listen to this episode, and she doesn't know this is happening.
No, she doesn't. But I think I've already kind of touched on it. It's like I actually really appreciate how, if there's something that I'm doing that I'm not even aware is actually, being a problem, she's actually gotten really good at approaching me directly about it.
Yeah.
And it's like direct and still with love. So it's like she'll be like, okay, this is what's bugging me and this is why. And I go, and then it's like, oh. And it's usually about stuff that I'm not even thinking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's stuff that I just kind of slip into on accident. Well, that's kind of a lot of life.
That's kind of your whole
honest.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I really appreciate it, because I've had some people who have been, either they're trying to be really polite about things and just kind of dance around the bush, or just be passive aggressive. And it's like, I don't know which one's worse, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Sometimes I'm passive aggressive on
come out and
purpose
tell
because it's
me.
fun, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. Something nice about Ashley. Oh, is that the time? That's all we got, folks.
Oh, you're getting off that easy.
No, I won't. She has such a gift to just always know what everyone needs at any given time. She's, especially, after mom, being there for exactly what dad needs, what we need, all that good stuff. But I mean, just in gaming and, especially since she's gotten more into streaming, we've had really good discussions about it. And she's always watching, and it's really fun. Like, she'll pick up on, like, if I end a stream and something kind of happened that upset me, I'll get a message from her, like, right after, like, hey, what was that about? You want to talk about it? She's always right there whenever you need her. And, and I love that about her. So, yeah. She's good peeps for a horrible, nasty piece of poo. She's pretty good. There we go. Nice, Clay. Well, thanks for being here tonight, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed this. Well, every episode, so before our conversation will start and the actual episode, is I have to think of some dumb thing for an intro for you. So it'll either be some weird song I'll make up on the spot, or I'll do a karaoke and make up words about you. Who knows? But to end every episode, the guest has to decide how the outro is going to go. We've had beat poems. We've done made up songs. I think someone just deadpanned a monologue from a movie. How do you want to end your episode? This is you.
Oh gosh, how do I want to end it?
It's tough.
It is. Especially because it's like just on the spot now.
I know. Well, that's where I live, and not many people. No one else in the family has that for some reason. It's really weird.
Yeah.
No, Dad has that. Never mind. I think I get that. Dad's really good on the spot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. We could just say for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah. So I'd probably just end it with a little bit of how I'm imagining my current shepherd sounding.
Okay, let's hear it.
Come on down to the Citadel. We'll pitch hot tents and make hot dogs for your babies. They like those, right? Guest invasion? No, Probalo.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store in the Citadel. Yeah, no, that's exactly how your Shepard should sound. I wish we had different voice packs we could choose because that'd be perfect.